Hi everyone, Paul Akers, host of the American Innovator. You know, the innovative spirit is alive and well, and everywhere I travel around the world, I bring back ideas and creativity to share with my audience to continuously improve and change the way we live. Welcome to the American Innovator. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the American Innovator. This is part 2 of our interview with George Zettel, and be prepared to be inspired. George is going to tell us about a lot of great things that are happening with Turner Construction and their implementation of Lean and how people are working together, collaborating. Instead of the yelling and screaming and wondering why everything didn't work out, they're saying, wow, things are going a lot better. And it's because of Lean, and it's because of the way they're doing Lean. They're taking it to a whole new level with their SAT, their study action teams, and a lot of other cool things that are happening. And George is going to explain all those things with a great smile on his face. So let's go back to the interview with George Zettel from Turner Construction. Okay, so George, tell me about the SAT teams. How often do they meet, and how big are the groups?
Well, usually we limit the group to about 10.
Okay.
And the purpose behind that is so that you get an opportunity in a 45-minute to 50-minute window for everybody to contribute, to speak. And we actually use tick marks. We measure or score who's doing all the talking, because we really want everybody to take a turn.
And it seems like there's always somebody who likes to filibuster, so you got to be really careful as the leader to kind of not tamp them down, but say, hey, let Bob talk, because Bob doesn't like to talk.
Yes. Yeah. Or we say, Mary, you're pretty quiet.
Right.
What did you think about this chapter? Right.
Okay, so you got 10 people max. You meet for 45 minutes, a chance for everybody to talk, and then how often do you meet?
To do it best, people's calendars can go crazy. So the longer you spread it out, the harder it is to get everybody there.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. So
these are good tips for our listeners.
Yeah. So we found that it works best if you meet at least twice a week.
So this is serious. You guys are serious about learning.
Twice a week. And like we did the 2-Second Lean book over a course of 4 weeks.
Okay.
Taking,
that's because it's a small book, George.
Well,
you could do it easily in 4 weeks.
I use that on purpose so that people aren't afraid.
Right.
I actually fan the book.
And you show them all the pictures.
The pictures.
I know.
And the QR codes, Paul.
Yeah. I get it.
And then because of your history with our industry,
right,
it also builds some credibility that, hey, this guy, has been in the construction industry and cabinet building industry.
Sure.
So that breaks the ice.
Interesting.
And so
I'm not a consultant, in other words.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, you walked in our shoes.
Yeah, exactly. I still do. I still live and breathe it. I love building things. I love getting my hands dirty. It's what I do.
Yeah. Same here. So the last session is basically dedicated to put up all the ideas of action. So in the course of the chapter, we're asking people to make notes of, hey, if you like this idea or this is relevant to your project or your team or your office,
right,
make a note of it on a sticky. And I don't know if I can show this here, but basically here's the book, and we would have people put notes, a post-it note that has a note on it.
Oh, okay.
What they want to do as an action in that item. And so one of them was next to your pictures of waste.
Okay.
What does waste mean to FastCap, right?
Right.
And that was very inspiring to people, and they said, we need to do that so we can show people waste in accounting. What does waste, the 8 wastes, look like in purchasing? Mm-hmm. What does the 8 wastes look like on a project? And so we actually, one of the actions that one of our teams came up with is to go and get those pictures and get the.
I like it. Make it relevant.
Visible. Yes, and relevant.
Very good.
And one of the teams is actually going to make a video of what we would think as an ideal, so kind of the true north thinking
Right.
What is an ideal project from the time an owner says, hey, I need a school or a hospital or a manufacturing plant, all the way through to get them to, study their operation, do value stream mapping, then design. How would we design it? Integrating the team, all the way through move-in, and use it as a means to train our people, but also, again, to coach and encourage our customers of what's possible.
And so
So
the people doing these study action teams, they like it. Is it? So how many study action teams has Turner done?
oh boy, Paul, I mean, I know for sure there's at least 15 or 20 teams on the West,
That's
uh,
impressive.
and there are, several that have done it. Like we did the Cherokee Harris Casino in
Hmm.
Cherokee, North Carolina,
Okay.
and that team started out with a study action team reading the Toyota Way at that time.
Excellent book. Yeah.
Okay. And so I basically would call in. I met the people face to face initially, and then I would call in, and we had a consulting coach that was on that side of the country, and they would be face to face with the team. And the conversations, you know, uh, regardless of where they are, is really eye opening. And we discover talents, and skill sets like in this team in San Diego. We actually had one of our senior administrative assistants. So she's in the field office, okay,
Right.
an office manager, clerk of the works. She had worked for Scripps Hospital
Hmm.
and had learned lean on the healthcare side. She
Wow.
was observing doctors and nurses in an office area and suggesting how to move the furniture around to be more efficient and less disruptive. And so when she found out that we were working on lean and got in our study action team, she was on fire,
Right.
And so she's the one that was inspired to, again, pictures speak a thousand words. So how do we show administrative assistants or people at the desk? What
Hmm.
does it mean to them? And so she started up this lean office startup kit. Again, a
Wow.
three ring binder that shows examples of things they can do, the 5S things you can do on your computer with email things, the things that we learned from the hamster revolution and all those, and 5Sing desks. And
So you're seeing it across the board. Everybody's implementing it when you're doing these study action
yes,
team. It just helps people, tears down the walls. It sounds like open up
yes,
the communication. You
yes,
uncover all this creativity that all these people have. These
yes,
people all want to be engaged because lean just naturally engages people. So
right,
these are
right.
very positive things.
Yeah, and it allows the leaders also to set expectations. So
Mhm.
when questions come up about, hey, are we serious about this or that, or do you really expect me to come up with improvement ideas every day? And it gives a chance for the leadership to help set expectations and also to role model because
Right.
the facilitators and the leaders, need to clearly be walking the talk.
What percentage of the people? I know this is a tough question, and you might not even want to answer it. But what percentage of the people would you say at Turner, this massive construction company, are pretty much understand lean and are making lean improvements on a somewhat regular basis? Is it 30%, 20% of the people there? Because when you
I,
get these big organizations, it's very difficult.
yeah, I think it is growing um, because we measure the volume of projects and how many of the lean principles uh, that are applied to our volume, and it's I would say that it's probably around 25% right now.
Right.
Yet we see a very steep adoption rate as uh, people are using the go and see principle. I mean, we're so busy on our project, I can't go for an hour's drive to go see what somebody else is doing.
Hmm.
And in Southern California, maybe it's a 3 hour drive, but,
Right.
um, you know,
Oh, there's no trappic down there. You're just over
exactly,
exaggerating the whole thing.
exactly.
I used to leave at four
Uh,
o'clock in the morning to get to Pasadena an hour away sometimes. It's crazy.
it is. So we have gotten people to actually be willing to jump on an airplane, and fly an hour to go see somebody else's project. And so we have visitors, and we go visit, and using the go and see principle again. I had a young project manager. She came to our Temecula project from San Diego, Paul. I mean,
Hmm.
it's less than an hour drive if
Right.
you're with the flow, right? She said, George, you would never be able to explain this to me. All of the things that you're doing on this job, I would have never imagined without coming and seeing it. And so that go and see principle in our industry
Get
is so,
Kambutsu. Go to the
oh,
shop floor.
exactly.
Go and
And
see
get
where
your
the
boots,
work is done, man.
yes, get your boots dirty,
Yeah.
go out where the work happens. And so she went back, and that became, um, she became an advocate to get people to leave their project for a day or a half a day and go and see what somebody else is doing. And the peer to peer coaching, much like you did with your daily meeting,
Right.
it raises the bar. Like if I had to tutor calculus or if I had to tutor something in school, you really need to understand it. And that's exactly what happens with the lean principles and the application and the powerful discovery each individual has to make. It's we say a pair of boots or a pair of shoes at a time.
Wow.
Wow. Each person has to say, wow, now that I saw that particular operation with lean eyes, and we changed it, you really see the impact on people. We had iron workers, okay, real burly, robust iron workers. It was their last day. They were getting laid off, which often is the case after big projects. But they came to our superintendent and thanked him profusely. They said they had been in the industry for 25, 30 years, Paul. They said this was the best project we were ever on.
And because
We said, so why? What made it so good for you guys? He said, well, everything was ready for us.
it's
Nothing
called
was,
flow.
yeah, nothing was in our way. We didn't have to go back and finish stuff because we were pulled off. I mean, on the in the earthquake design steel in Southern California, we have these moment connections that have full penetration welds, so that
Hmm.
on these big members, every single pass of the weld has to be super clean before the next pass, and it gets
Right.
inspected. I have never been, so I've been in California over 25 years on lots of hospital jobs and school jobs. This was the first job I have ever had that had zero rejected full penetration welds. It's unheard of, Paul,
And
because of no rushing. They had the
flow and evenness, no
yeah,
burden.
we're working
Yeah.
across an area. They had made a great plan that showed how they were going to move,
Hmm.
where the crane was going to be, and how they were going to move. And the inspectors were involved with the planning and knew which way they had to follow.
Collaboration.
Yes. And they actually got to a point where they would be able to put up a signal, like a little cone or a flag,
Right.
to say, I was ready for an inspection. I finished
Wow. Great,
cleaning.
great visual controls.
Exactly.
So it's so funny because when I think about lean, I always kind of laugh and chuckle inside because it's just the application of some simple principles. It's all just this mighty dose of common sense
Yes.
of people working
Yes.
together instead of working against each other, people collaborating, using
Yes.
visual controls, simplifying things, not doing batch work, one piece flow, evenness, not burdening down people, not trying to chisel every dime out of someone, but saying,
Yes.
you know, hey, let's be reasonable, let's work together, and some really good outcomes can happen. And here you have these people say, this is the best show I've ever, or this is the best job site I've ever worked on. That's got
Yeah.
to feel really, really
Yeah.
good.
Fabulous. And again, we know inside that we have more to improve.
Right.
We have a lot of opportunities with the waste,
And
and
that's what keeps a smile on your face. And that's what keeps
exactly
a smile on my face, because I always tell people when they come visit me, you know, I'm not perfect. You think it's
right.
going to be perfect. Just forget about that nonsense. But I'm happy because I know today is better than yesterday, and
Yes.
tomorrow will be better than today, because
Yes.
we just improve everything.
Yeah. In some corner of our daily, path,
Right.
something is getting better, and more people are trying to pass that on to others.
Yeah, it's very
It,
exciting.
I mean, I I was walking to the elevator out of our office, and a young engineer caught me. She said, "Would you come and take a look at our pull plan before you go?" And so
Oh, this is
I'm doing
great.
pull planning with the post-it notes and everything. And I said, "Sure, sure." So I dropped my bag and went back. And here in a conference room where she had three of her colleagues, and they had created the preparations for tomorrow morning's pull plan, where these trade contractors were going to come in and they were going to make a strategy for finishing this college dormitory earlier than promised. And she said, "So
Based on pull.
how does it look? How's it?" And I said, This is. I mean, it took me a while to be able to talk, because it was like, oh my gosh,
And they
I
did this on their own. That's even better.
yeah, I could see, that they were paying attention, and had we had coached them, and they had done it enough times that they had all the critical, important elements ready for the team. And so I said, this is awesome. This is way more than I would expect a team to be doing so early in the project.
And it goes back to your original statement about the guy delivering a whole trailer load of cabinets. He was pushing on you,
Sure.
and here are your team members getting it, that it's about pull. It's not
Yes.
about push. It's about giving the customer exactly what they want, when they want it, on time, no more, no less. That's what it's all about.
Well, and even asking them, Paul,
Yeah.
asking how, if I point this way, or if I turn it that way, will it make it easier for you to install? And people weren't even thinking that way before.
Yeah, I love Lean because it's so customer centered. It's so focused on servicing or serving the customer, and it's all about the customer. And it simplifies everything when we realize we're there to serve and not there to get. And when
Yes.
we get those priorities straight, magically everything seems to work out pretty well.
Yeah, it sure does.
So
Sure.
great stories, George. I really appreciate you being on the show. I'm sure a lot of people are very encouraged when they hear, a large corporation like Turner Construction, world-renowned corporation, can make lean work, and you can do it with a smile on your face. Because I know when I listen to you talk, George, you know, you're happy about this stuff. It's cool. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, we constantly hear people say, I remember it was in Middle Tennessee, Murfreesboro,
Hmm.
and a superintendent who'd been in the business, forever, said, "You know what, George? I'm starting to have fun again. I starting to enjoy building, because it was always the screaming and shouting. And
Yeah.
nobody was ready, and everything was wrong, and it was always a firefight. But to hear somebody make that kind of statement, that I'm starting to enjoy building again. You're a craftsman. You know how good it
Oh
feels.
yeah.
You put stuff together, right, and it works. And that is worth living for, right?
Isn't that what it's all about? And you get so much more done when people are enjoying their work rather than,
Oh,
trudging through their work.
absolutely.
It's good stuff. Well,
Yeah.
George, thanks again so much for being on the show, and I appreciate all the hard work you're doing.
Yeah.
My cough to your cough. I'm still
Yeah.
coughing a little bit, but
keep me posted on all the good things that are happening, and we'd love to have you back again sometime.
Yeah, thank you again for this. It surely is an honor to try
oh,
to
are you kidding? The honor's all ours.
Well, pass on the things that you're helping us with too, man.
It's awesome. Thanks George. Bye-bye.
Remember, life's an adventure. Be a part of the solution. Go out, learn, improve, change, think outside the box. We can change the way the world thinks. Be an innovator. I really got to stop getting myself in these situations. That's a leopard, and that's an elephant. Yes, and this is a cheetah.
Like, oh, I saw
Here,
that.
kitty, 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 kitty,
Oh,
kitty.
cute. He wants to play.
Uh-oh, uh-oh. You got it.